Hello, I'm Ace the Supervillain, and today we're going to learn how to draw with the mouse. I've been thinking about how to do it, and I think the better way to explain it is actually sort of backwards. Um, my recommendation is that if you're going to finish drawings with the mouse, it is better to start them with pencil. So first I'm going to show you how to do that, and then I'm going to show you how to actually do sketches with the mouse, because that's still possible. Um, So this is our pencil drawing today, something I was working on just kind of aimlessly. It's supposed to be an Allosaurus. It's a little bit weird. Let's see. So first of all, let's kind of clean up this image. So this is just pencil drawing taken up with a cell phone in a dimly lit room. So let's first of all go to these colors, brightness, contrast, and mostly the brightness. And what we're going to do is add a layer on top of this to ink over. So when I do this, I like to go down here and colorize. Get something like that. Actually, that could be more. Boost the contrast a bit more. What I really actually want, I think, is levels. This. That's kind of where we're at. Temperature. What it is, I don't want these parts to be fully black, so actually we're going to start over. Let's colorize first. Alright, so the reason I don't want it to be fully black is because when I'm inking over it, it's crazy smooth. I want to be able to see really precisely where my new line is compared to my old line. Be very careful what layer you're working on. Yeah, that should be good. Okay. Okay. Now we're going to start with the ink. So as you saw, we've got the base layer with the sketch, new layer up here. There's two ways to do that. So you can use a transparent layer, or you can use a white and black layer with that's on multiply. There's sort of more you can do with it if you start black. So with start transparent. Sorry, so just only black, not black and white. Let's see. So see, we're down in. This is GIMP, by the way, the General Image Manipulation Program. I use it because I love the smooth stroke feature. So we can have that on. So first, let's kind of find a thickness that we like. Hardness is all the way up. One thing I don't like about the new version it has these it loves to just kill your brush hardness. Yeah. Just kind of doing a test line. that looks like what we want to end up with. Okay, good. Zoom out and look at it actually. Yeah, it's a bit thick. We can go a little thinner. Size 32, let's do 30 or 26. Let's just type it in. Use the hotkey to switch tools faster. Zoom in for high precision. And there you go. And that's basically the game. So, should we leave that line? We leave that line. Yeah. And so I'll give you options too. So that's one idea is to start big and go small. So 26, I can remember 26. Let's do 5. And another option is to go small. Oops. Oops. I think you still want to chisel your end caps here, as you can kind of see what I'm doing. Not that that's quite where the end would be, but yeah, you just still want to go in there and do that. Right? Or actually, so you can see that. There you go. And this is why, definitely if you're doing this and you really want to be coloring in your underlying sketch like that. Okay. And if, so you could certainly just like leave it thin like that, or you can kind of, not happy. Kind of go like that. Don't merge. Select, grow, link. And you have a nice, like undershaded bit. And contrast is good. I think it's certainly good to have so I might do these claws a little thinner. The boundary of the claw to be a bit thinner, and what you might do is kind of boost that out a bit. And come in there. Get like a nice sharp point. Oh yeah, anyways. And then yeah, certainly good to have contrast like that. I'll kind of push that out a bit. Oops. A little. Anyways, yeah, I obviously there's no right way to do it. So one, like another idea with this, if you have something that's kind of like bulging out, you want to make the line thinner there to give the feeling that it's like kind of bulging out even over the line. Alright. And so yeah, there you go. And so it's totally depends on like what style you're going for with this drawing. I like like certainly if it's like a very cartoony thing like this, I think the thick lines can work out. Thin lines, if you're going for more like a game CG kind of portrait, thinner is better. I think since we have like this kind of super goofy cartoon face on this one, thick is better. So let's actually, so we're going to go in to 26-ish. Down here. That's another way to do it too, is to take your thin line and then just kind of slowly go over it with the next line. Let's see. Just kind of thin that where it meets the leg. There we go. And so actually, typically, I would draw most of these lines in without constantly fixing them. And then kind of do it all at once later, because that way I get kind of more of a kind of a consistent frame of mind to be doing that. But these I don't think you want to be as sharp, because they're not like super sharp ones. Do that again. Lower. So I have the size on Satanti, so you can see it going up and down there. Alright, so one important thing we want to talk about. Let's go up that a bit. Right. Is doing confident lines. So the idea is if you just kind of like making a line, like it tends to be it tends to get kind of jittery if you're kind of thinking about what you want to do as you're making the line. The better way is to just kind of like imagine the endpoint where you want to end up and just go for it, which is not perfect, but way straighter than that. All right, let's let the lower than the end. So we do want 18. So we want a thinner line for the hair. And go. That's part of why my usual mantra with this is don't think with ink. If like don't try to replan your image during this step, because if you do, you're going to get those unconfident squiggly lines. But at the same time, whatever, you've got an eraser. You've got an eraser, you've got to undo. One thing, if you want to try something, you can easily go down here, duplicate layer. So do I want to try it like this? And be like, nah, I didn't like that. Back to this one. And since I am going for, excuse me, thicker lines, I might go like a little bit less. Less of these like kind of small details. Pencil it. I just kind of give it some texture there. Right, that's good. And so the This is like very big images also make this a lot easier to work with. Yeah, actually that's a great example. So where this is something huge like 3000 by 4000. So as you can see, like I just made this kind of little divot in there, getting rid of that thing, but when I fully zoomed out, it's gone. It's like absolutely not noticeable. So part of the reason to do this, let's go do it a little bit better. Yeah, part of the reason to do this is just to give yourself that kind of leeway. So here, all right. So the hair, I think we want to be like really thin at the beginning. And do that. Okay. And this is going to be pretty thin here. A sharp bit. Another reason for going big is that it gives you more like kind of more ways to do it. So we might do there. Too big. That kind of the opposite of capping it with the other things. Yeah, so like part of it is so when we're out here drawing, we can make these like big. Yeah, that's even actually, so that's still kind of hard to do. Right, so it's hard to get these smooth lines. Like usually it's for the legs. That one kind of went okay, but yeah, like just like what I did there. If you zoom out, we can do it better. And it's actually an interesting point to some extent. Your arm is not designed to rotate equally in 360 degrees. So again, I think I can actually shift like that, and I can rotate. So that shift middle click to rotate it around. I might take this angle. I might like take my smooth stroke and really blast it for this line. I was thinking, I think. Yeah, it's a little straighter than I want to like scoop in more. Let's go. Started good, didn't end up where I wanted to. So I think and this is also why you might not want to end with the let's see. Cool. All right. Take my smooth stroke back in here. Start fixing. Yeah, like little stuff like that, I probably could get rid of it. But yeah, see, because you know what you don't want is to. It actually wasn't bad, but you don't want to like overdo it like that. But like that kind of thing, it's like, oh my god, I can totally see that I messed up. But like, no, you're not going to see it. I actually, after doing this, started kind of paying more attention to the mangas I read, and I started noticing that like a lot of these like real pro artists end up with little features like that like even in manga that I've read before, and I go back and like, oh, I never noticed that the first time until I was looking at it like this. Doesn't mean I'm not gonna do it. Alright. That's probably enough at this angle. So you hit exclamation point. There it is. Yeah, and so I did change this. I like that. I like the new one better though, so I'm gonna keep that. Alright. Maybe what the size or clause were. That, huh? Give myself a little more extra room. Yeah, and hopefully this is obvious. You don't want to like pick some brush size and stick to it. You definitely want to like kind of remember what your ideal brush sizes are, but you definitely want to be like going in and out of things as you work. Sharper. There you go. Let's see. Actually, I'm not sure about the hair. I might want to take that back to how it was, or to be more like the drawing. I can do it. Yeah, okay. Let's see here. It's like 18. It's coming down like there, because that's what I'm doing. Alright, so here's another trick. So I don't want it to, I want this line to go through the arm. I don't want to mess up this nice arm that I did. Because I think actually what's happening is something like that. You know, but that looks weird if you can't see that. So let's do a bit. Yes, more like that. Done that first. Let's see. Yeah, I just like I see stuff like this and I'm just like, ugh, must fix. I do see a lot of artists kind of do that and be like, well, oh, I guess that's how the tool is. Do I need to fix that? That might look interesting. Ah, okay. Here's a good. I was waiting for something like this. So I want to like come in here and I don't want to mess up these other lines that I've done. So we're going to select all the parts that I want to deal with. Not plus. Enter. There you go. And see, I'm over here, nothing. Over there, something. Boom. We took it. Yeah, we got that a little pixely over there. Okay, fix that. So I'm going to point out, if I were more savvy with my computer controls, there's a window you can have in GIMP that will have a bunch of brush presets. That might have been an add-on. I don't think it was an add-on, but yeah, like it's there somewhere, and um, so you can just like if we're doing these things, like I have like, oh, this is my like outside line size that I like, and this is my hairline size that I like. Then I could just like kind of assign that to a brush and just kind of one click, 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 click. And I'm just the kind of person who would rather just you click it here than to learn how to actually do that. Okay. So now we have the hair that's crossing over the line. It's on a different layer. Now I can erase this. Oh, and we're tangenting with the shoulder muscle. Delete. Okay. Alright, so tangenting is when, this line kind of looks like it's going into another line. This is a thing. Oh yeah, and I want to merge down. Personally, because I don't like to leave a lot of leftover wacky layers like that, because I'll be like, shit, which layer was that line on? However, it would be totally normal and okay to say to yourself, like, oh, I want to put like all of the hair lines on one layer, and like the body lines on one layer, and clothes on another layer. Yeah, anyways, tangents. Just come in here. Maybe do that. Yeah. Do the corner. How does that look zoomed down? Yeah, it looks like it would have been. Yeah, it would have been better to have it like over there, but good enough. Don't want to go there. This I do. Thanks. Let's kind of taper. That's too much taper. Also point out that the eraser definitely has the smooth stroke on it too. There we go. Be a little thicker. It's too much. I hope you are also picking up that like the deal with drawing with the mouse is not that like there's some secret way to make drawing with the mouse feel fast and natural. It's just that how to draw without being fast and natural. And so that gets into like kind of a broader drawing fundamental concept, is that a lot of people tend to draw like they write. They want to like when you write, you want to be able to make these kind of specific shapes as quickly as possible without thinking. And certainly if you're drawing something like Foxtrot cartoon. Anyone read Foxtrot? I don't know. Foxtrot's a great example of this. Or something like Family Guy, actually, maybe. It's probably more universal. like Family Guy has a lot of people who are built on exactly the same shapes in the doing kind of similar faces and actions and stuff all the time. I sort of tend to assume that Family Guy is excuse me, is made with digitally, so they probably are like actually copy and pasting. But yeah, so if you're doing something like that, drawing like from a like kind of a writing perspective kind of makes sense. But if you're drawing in kind of more of the internet character artist style, you're often kind of making new characters and new poses. And what then, click this first. And you actually, it's better to think of art or this sort of drawing as like working with clay, where you want to be kind of constantly shaping it and assessing it and readjusting it. And then when you get to this step, this is kind of like putting the clay in the oven. What do you call it? The clay oven, the kiln. Okay. Let's do this face. Oh, I'm not explaining something. Alright, so for the face, we may want to turn the smooth stroke down a bit so that we can get kind of more tighter curves like that. This kind of a problem with shading in your pencil sketches. It can make things hard to see. So one of the guides to choosing what thickness to use when is that these sort of inside lines you typically want thinner lines, and then these outside lines can be thicker. Stuff like hair, and claws, and whatnot can be thinner. And this basically gets to the idea that lines are not just like they're doing nothing. Actually, this is an outside line. That up. Lines should be communicating information about the subject. For one thing, and then for another thing, lines are art. You can be artistic with them. Do that. Yeah, like you absolutely want to like kind of welcome your line work into the party. Say like this isn't just necessary to convey shape, it is the art itself. And to some extent, that's specific to this style. You can certainly try and kind of reduce your line work. And there's nothing wrong with that, but like if you insist on having lines, and I absolutely insist on having lines, then yeah, then all of that I said, like make the lines important. Make them add to the drawing. That to be thicker. I want the top of these to be thicker. There's a big old Sonic the Hedgehog lashes. I don't know if we need something. I don't know if we need more than that. We don't like that. Go more in that direction. Okay. Okay. Clicking on this top. And so, to some extent, this is just a really goofy, cartoony eye position that barely works in the first place. But it's what I drew, it's what I'm seeing. And the fact of it is, if you're ever trying to be like a real professional pipeline artist, you're going to get to decide what to actually draw for yourself maybe 10% of the time, if that. And be like, oh, then she'd look totally cute in the ponytail. And I'll be like, too bad. That's not what was asked for. Let me take a excuse me. Let me take a swig of beverage here. Let's see. Should have the neck. Is it the neck? Looks like it's out too far. Let's tangent in with the hair. Let's see. Sometimes you might put your body parts in the wrong place just to not tangent. That's a new layer. Excuse me. New layer kind of line. Yeah, I don't know what's up with this cough, guys. I had a cough for like 3 weeks in a row, and I was so glad that it was finally over. And then apparently it's back, and I don't know what happened. Because I don't even feel sick, I just like can't talk for long stretches at a time. Okay. Alright, home stretch. Let's get these legs. And then we'll do the interior markings. Yeah. Oh, turn the stroke back up. That's what I'm doing. Also, just to preempt anyone asking me about this, I have no idea what the difference between the smooth strokes quality and weight actually does. I think that, I don't know if you can see this, but the line kind of like drags, there it goes, it kind of drags behind where the cursor is, like especially the more wacky you go with it. And so I think that's weight determines how much that it goes. No, maybe it's quality that does that. Yeah, I don't know. No idea what these settings are actually doing. I guess that's it, huh? Let's see. So I did do kind of like the shadow lining over here. So let's add that. So let's just kind of come up with a rule for this. We just kind of lower surfaces get the shadow line. Okay. We might want to do a new layer to do shadow lines on, or at least duplicate it. Let's duplicate it. So that's kind of like saved. Actually, it's a good point to save our work. Save it. Let's do pictures, NG Art Forum. There we go. All right. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So one theory being that you can kind of do a new layer to extra like darken these lines. So it'd be something like that. Especially if you're gonna like really add thickness to them like that. The reason to not do that on a new layer is because you can come in here and clean up, both things at once. This. Totally whiffing this. Did I change something? It seems like the smooth stroke just kind of gave out a bit. Yeah, anyways, alright. Forget if I've explained this verbally. Yeah, so we're just going to take the bottoms here and add like a little more weight to them. That's another, this kind of, instead of thickness, it's called weight sometimes. It's kind of debatable whether you should do that on the feet, because not really shaded, they're just like because they're pressed to the ground. This section, certainly, you can kind of pull that out rather than push it in. Either spoon. Okay. Should I do the eyes with lines? See, I didn't last time, and they looked super creepy. Let's do, yeah, because we've got these little like cartoon dot eyes that we're replacing anyway. Just fill the mouth too, because it's going to be easier. So a lot of whether or not you're planning to fully color this is very important to some of these inking decisions. And I have not decided that, so I know I'm aiming towards not a whole lot of color. That might be its own different video, I think, because we're that and how to sketch. But we'll show you how to do basic colors. So let's, yeah, there she is. This kind of looks weird. Yeah, actually. Let's give her, whoops, a little more tail. It doesn't, yeah, it doesn't fully make sense, but it's more like that. There we go. A little farther. Okay. All right. This is going to be a little tougher. Follow the guides. Okay. Oh, let's see. Alright, so lots of stuff. This will be the kind of underbelly color. It's going to be yellow. Yeah. Hide that so that I can see the sketch underneath. Okay, red body color. Oops. Shit. Drawing on the sketch. Alright, gotta undo all of that. Get back in. There you go. Luckily, we got that quickly. So I probably don't want to be working with the full thickness for this. Let's take that down a bit. On the tail. let's see, that's a different color, so we'll worry about that. Let's keep it in there. This is why we're not worrying about those caps, because I'm just going to fill it in. Just a few spots that we're working here. Sometimes it's easier to find with the brush. There we go. Put that back. Perfect. Yeah, okay. I'll look at this other. Whoops. Like this. Put one more layer of excuse me, things on top of that. Let's see. So this is kind of a 3D-ifying thing. Like, I don't want to start from there like it's some kind of like a flat paper doll, right? You want it to kind of looks like it's really wrapping around the arm. There we go. Looks good. So up here, and then it can be, but alright. And it's, well, yeah, it's because it moved the tail. Okay. So I know this is hard to see. Part of why I know where these lines are supposed to be is because the one who drew this, hopefully, if you're receiving your sketches from someone else, they also gave you some sort of a style guide. So that you know what these characters look like. If you're drawing fan art of a character, that certainly helps. If you're drawing your own and you forgot, then you can just do anything you want. Let's see. I have to be honest, like when I know that I'm going to ink over one of my drawings later, I do have a tendency to sometimes get lazy with it and say, yeah, I'll fix it in post. It's kind of fun. Alright, these. So when you're doing corners like that with the smooth stroke on, I think you do kind of need to lift. So normally lifting, not great because you can get kind of weird effects when you come back to it. But can be necessary for corners. And we're going to go in and fix all of the end caps anyways. So I'm more more okay with doing it, here. Although, alright, here's the thing, because like a lot of you watching this video are probably thinking, oh man, if only I had a tablet. I wouldn't have these round caps. And no, tablets do not fix round caps. They kind of do. You absolutely still get round caps when you're using a tablet, but you still have to do this with a tablet. Like the tablet can make them smaller, like if you're like specifically trying to minimize caps when you're drawing, but like you mostly aren't. There's like a million other things to think about. Okay. Oh yeah, and these are obviously going to be filled in, so like the fact that this is like kind of extra thin at that point is irrelevant. Yeah, actually, this is obviously, everything else is like kind of sort of textured look, and down at the legs that are little sock-looking things here, I clearly just said like, no, I want to stop. I'll fix it in post. Actually, I do kind of like some variability to it, although that's the kind of thing you shouldn't start doing right here at the last feature of the entire drawing. Okay. Alright. That's all of them. Yeah, fill that in. Like, do I need to explain what this is? This seems kind of obvious. You're kind of selecting, an area of the drawing, and there's pressing like the fill hotkey, which is like Control, comma, and then it fills it in. You don't want to use this. Because it's going to leave this area back there. See that? Anything behind that starts coming through. You can do that. Oops. Yeah, can do that if you're using the pencil. And the thing is, when we're this big, like once we kind of like export it to a size that makes sense, like, you can really barely tell the difference between that. So that is one way of doing it. If these sort of anti-aliasing things get difficult to work with, then don't work with them. Use that doesn't have smooth stroke on. That's baller for not having smooth stroke on. Yeah, then like don't worry about it. You might do because that's still like kind of visible. So you might do like an even bigger drawing and then just shrink it when you're done. Anyways, not today. When did this happen? What is this? Alright. So we have that. Okay. And then claws, eyes, and hair. Alright. These can probably just go on this layer. So, new layer for any of these which are touching each other. Reason being that now I can like go in here and say like, I didn't want red, I want green. Not with the selection. Actually, I want this one. You know, or purple, right? And I can kind of easily switch that. If they were on the same layer, then you'd have to do both at once. Let me grab some more beverage. Yeah, you'd have to do both at once, or you would have to you know, do a selection, and the selection would have rough edges, and it would never look perfect. Anyways, this. Cartoon, you can certainly go just white, little off-white. So do it. Make sure that's not too close to the belly. Yeah. So just a few gaps over here. Hair. What color hair? Blonde, probably. That's actually. Oh yeah. But so basically, yeah. Like if the borders are behind the lines, then it doesn't matter. They can get messed up. Although we'll still do a new layer. Try out some things. Oh hey, let's do the teeth and the thumbnail. The teeth could be the same as the claws. Actually, go in here and sharpen it up. Oops, I'm still clean it down. All right. So yeah, we can take this. Just go to chroma. So like, ooh, I kind of like that. Just minus 58. Do something like that. You know. Here, so we want something darker. It's not bad. That's kind of fun. Now that's sort of nice and matchy. that. Alright, I did like the first one best. Yeah, okay, that's fine. Yeah, there you go. They're looking at. I should have shrunk this hand because this looks like way bigger than the rest of it. But yeah, basically, that's the idea. So one last thing we can do. Or should we do that in the next? Let's do that in the next video because we went very long. So like next time, let's do think about how to do some shading to this. So next time, bye bye.